one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good evening. This evening, the Board of Education is recognizing an outstanding group of Parkway students and schools. We are honoring students who have demonstrated outstanding academic achievement in the STARS Excellence in Research program. And in addition, we'll recognize our Energy Star schools and our newest Green Ribbon schools. First, I would like to invite Dr. Ken Maris, the STARS Program Director, to present the winners of the Award for Excellence in Research in the Students and Teachers as Research Scientists program.
Thank you very much. Before recognizing 8 outstanding Parkway School District students, I'd like to tell you something about the 2019 STARS program. The STARS program enables outstanding rising senior students who show significant promise in science to attend an area research institution for 6 weeks. These students conduct research with outstanding faculty in a one-to-one environment. Classes and research are conducted using the facilities of the Cortex Innovation Community, the Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, St. Louis University, Washington University, and the host institution, the University of Missouri, St. Louis. In addition to our winners, we had 4 outstanding students from the Parkway District who participated in the program this summer. On July 19th, they presented their research findings to an audience of their peers, research scientists, parents, and friends. And having successfully completed the requirements for graduation from the program, they were presented their laboratory coats, their STARS pin, and the graduation certificate, and were commended STARS Research Scholars in a ceremony on the University of Missouri St. Louis campus. Those students are Andrew Lee, Mugda Sinha, Charles Wang, and Mohammed Kuziz. So congratulations to those 4 students. The laboratory research is augmented by seminars presented by noted scientists from the St. Louis research community. In addition, students are presented information about the process of applying to colleges and universities around the country and participate in a number of social events, such as going to see the St. Louis Cardinals. Academically, the participants were a very, very select group, and frankly, I don't remember so many qualified students applying for admission to the STARS program. All students' research papers were reviewed and judged anonymously using the following criteria: the difficulty and complexity of the research, the appropriateness of the research methodology, their findings, quality of writing, and overall quality of the research process. In addition, each reviewer assigned points to 8 critical components of the research paper in order to quantify the evaluation assessment. So it's with great pride and pleasure that I'm here this evening to present the STARS Awards for Excellence in Research to 4 outstanding Parkway seniors. They are Varsha Morelli, Dawson Wren, Arjiv Sinj, and Jason Yang. The award reads as follows: students and teachers as research scientists in recognition of outstanding research accomplishments during the STARS program, the Partnership of Research Institutions presents the Award of Excellence to each individual student. And it was signed by the senior officer of each Research Institution. So congratulations to these 4 students. And lastly, I would like to congratulate the Parkway School District, faculty, staff for the outstanding academic programs that provide the quality background that helps students like these to win very, very competitive research awards. We look forward to your participation next year, and thank you very much.
I just want to thank Ken. Every year he graciously comes out and presents these recognition, and what a great opportunity for our students here in Parkway to really get a head start in what university research is all about. And Ken gave me their research. I'll share it with the board. You want to probably stay up and read it at night if you can understand it. I mean, these students' work is just amazing. So congratulations and thanks so much, Ken. Appreciate it.
Next, please welcome Eric Luters, Director of Purchasing and Sustainability.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Marty, Ms. Stover. So tonight, we would like to recognize our Energy Star schools. So long before the contemporary movement to go green, Parkway has led the way with energy conservation. Since 1991, Parkway has worked to continually improve and save energy, which in turn saves taxpayer dollars and reduces our district's impact on the environment. Our efforts to improve continues. Parkway School District participates in a voluntary benchmarking program known as Energy Star. This is a logo many of us recognize on new appliances, electronic devices that indicate items are energy efficient products. That said, many people don't know that buildings can also be certified as energy efficient as well. What this represents is that the building is in the top 25% of buildings nationwide with regards to energy efficiency. When Parkway first began benchmarking buildings' energy use with Energy Star in 2008, there were only 2 schools that were eligible to receive certification. Those were Carmen Trails and Piermont Elementary. Today we're recognizing 15 different schools that have received Energy Star certification. The collaborative efforts of Parkway's operations team, along with those within the schools, have resulted in nearly a 30% energy use reduction since 2008 across the district. Additionally, if Parkway would have not have cut energy use since 2008, we would have spent another $1.5 million a year in annual utility costs. However, through the implementation of upgraded HVAC equipment, advanced IT settings, improved insulation of roof systems, efficient kitchen equipment, next-generation lighting technologies, and mindful behaviors throughout our schools among our staff and our students, we are able to recognize these proud achievements within these 15 different schools. Tonight, we recognize the following schools for achieving this national recognition for energy efficiency. If the representative from each school could please come and shake hands with the superintendent of the board when I call your school. So first, Barrett's Elementary. Bellerive Elementary. Carmen Trails. Claymont Elementary. Craig Elementary. Green Trails. Henry Elementary. Highcroft Ridge Elementary. McKelvey Elementary. Piermont Elementary. Riverbend Elementary. Central Middle School. Northeast Middle School. South Middle School. and Fern Ridge Elementary, or excuse me, Fern Ridge High School. So next, we're going to recognize a couple of above and beyond achievements. While energy efficiency is amazing accomplishments and saves taxpayer dollars, beyond that is what we're looking for with the Green Ribbon Schools recognition. So tonight we are recognizing significant achievements of Claymont Elementary and Highcroft Ridge Elementary as the 2019 U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Award recipients. These elite schools have represented 2 of the only 4 schools in Missouri to receive this recognition this year, and only 2 of 53 schools across the United States. The aim of the U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools program is to inspire schools to strive for 21st century excellence by highlighting promising practices and resources that all schools can employ. To that end, the award recognizes schools that reduce environmental impacts and costs, improve the health and wellness of schools, students, and staff, and provide effective environmental and sustainability education. Each school had to demonstrate their above and beyond strengths in each of these pillars, documented in a rigorous 30-page nomination form that delves into the specifics of lessons taught, energy efficiency improvements, quality of health and wellness of activities, proportions of waste reduction goals, among many, many other attributes and criteria, documenting continuous improvements to their approach to whole school sustainability. The purpose of all the hard work behind these recognitions is for a better future. Students and staff working together within their communities to reduce air pollution, slow climate change, improve the health of their communities, grow their own food, and reduce the negative impacts on the environment that supports everyone. Through continually improving how our schools operate, decreasing resource consumption, we leave a future that's brighter for future generations. Both schools are prime examples of achieving this aim. Working collaboratively, each school has begun to significantly curtail environmental impact, improve health and wellness, and provide sustainably focused education opportunities. One example at Claymont is that a student group actively learned about the importance of local fresh produce and worked within the school community fund to fund and install an indoor tower garden that's provided fruits and vegetables for school lunches. An example, Highcroft Ridge, is a student group there did an in-depth carbon footprint study for their entire school, learning about the impact they're having so they can map out important steps to reduce their environmental impacts. Along the way, the Parkway support staff team has complemented the student-teacher leadership, from providing top-tier health and wellness opportunities to having award-winning compost programs in the cafeteria to our cleaner-burning CNG buses, to the continual improvement of energy efficiency within our facilities. The Parkway team is lean and green. Claymont Elementary, Highcroft Ridge Elementary, the students, community, and the staff that supports their efforts are truly deserving of these prestigious awards. I would now like to call Dr. Nathan Birch of Claymont Elementary and his guests to come forward. Please join me in recognizing Claymont Elementary. Now I'd like to call Cartelia Lucas of Highcroft Ridge Elementary to come forward. Please join me in recognizing Highcroft Ridge Elementary. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks again to all of our students, their families, and Parkway staff for joining us this evening. Parents, you have outstanding children, and you should be very proud. At this time, we'll take a brief break, and we'll resume the board meeting in just a few minutes. We all ready? Okay, we will continue our meeting. See, we are moving on to 6.0, additions, corrections, and modifications to agenda. We have an addition to agenda items 10.18, approval of Riverbend Elementary's 2018 bond issue project addition, two-story, four-classroom addition with ADA elevator and front entrance modifications to add ADA ramp to lower level, and 10.19, approval of Central High 2018 bond issue project addition stadium concession stand and restroom building. And 6.02, addendum to agenda item 10.07, approval of personnel items. Moving on, we have one citizen statement this evening, and that is Savannah Araya. Araya, Savannah, join us at the podium, please.
Hello. Good evening, Dr. Marty and board members. My name is Savannah Araya. Thank you for the opportunity for me to share my experience as a senior at Parkway West High School, a school in the middle of what is being called an e-cig epidemic. We are thrilled with the attention our community and school district has put into vaping education. Although the facts still remain. In a survey that we conducted last year, Parkway West students stated that 92% had seen or been exposed to vaping. In the same survey, 63% of Juul users reported they didn't know Juuls contain nicotine. An epidemic that is thought by students as a safe way to smoke. At West, bathrooms are no longer called bathrooms, but for many, stating that these are private Juuling stations. What many students do not know is that vapes contain more chemicals than cigarettes. We love that West is implementing a restorative education component to support students who had been making unhealthy choices. I'm here to encourage the board to find additional ways to support our prevention efforts. For example, helping us find funds or volunteers for our Mellow Monday events, supporting Stand Up 9 leadership training for freshmen, or attending Alliance for Healthy Community meetings to support youth prevention. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next, may I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of Education as scheduled for October 23rd, 2019?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. The next regularly scheduled board meeting will take place on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019, beginning at 7 p.m. here at Central Middle School. Board liaison reports.
All right, I'm just going to plug one thing tonight. I'm going to plug the Spark program. We've gotten, as a board, a good story from the entrepreneurship program. I've gotten a request from one of the engineering students to actually learn more about my work and how they can actually affect their project for the engineering program. And then I have a West Magazine had an article about it recently, and then with my daughter too. She's in the Spark program, and the fact that as we visit colleges, the leg up that she has and knowing what she wants to do and what she can do and what she enjoys has been extremely encouraging. The universities see that as a extreme benefit as she walks into those schools. And I think just the approach that they've taken to work with the student, even going forward through their senior year, to figure out what really interests them and molding that program to fit their needs and their interests has been more than I ever expected in a program like this at a high school level. So I just want to encourage all the other students out there that are getting of the age to enter the Spark program to give it a serious consideration. It gives them that real world touch that they need, and I've just been overly impressed by it.
Well, in the past month, I've had the opportunity to attend a couple of different meetings. I went to my first Missouri School Boards Association meeting, and it was such a good opportunity to learn from other school districts, their staff, and their board members. And the one thing that I really came away from is all school districts are dealing with the same things we are dealing with here. Topics around equity and diversity, student mental health, school safety, and it was really good to be able to hear some of the approaches that other districts are taking. And I like to be able to, I came back and shared what I had heard with the rest of the board, and I think that we can really get some great ideas from this conference. The other event that I attended kind of as a private citizen due to my own interest. I went to the St. Louis Racial Equity Summit. And as someone who grew up in St. Louis, I think that we're a city that doesn't talk about our racial challenges enough. And this summit was such a good place to talk about these things in a safe space where ideas were being respected. I haven't written up a report for the rest of the board yet because it just hasn't happened yet, but I came away with a lot of resources that I'm going to be sharing with everybody in how we can consider racial equity and all types of equity in our work here in Parkway.
Just two quick things. One, Debbie, Jeff, and I got to attend the first hour of the student advisory group tonight, just before our board meeting started. So this was a group of representatives from all 4 of our high schools who came together to give input into the diversity program evaluation. If you're a regular board member attendee, you know that we're currently doing an evaluation of our diversity programs in Parkway, and as a step in that, gathering student input about their experiences and where they see opportunities for Parkway to get better and where they see bright spots as a part of that process. So we got to hear the first hour of 3 of a 2-hour meeting, and we wished we could stay. So that was great to hear. The other thing I'll just mention is, just so people are aware, there are some growing efforts in the region about universal access to early childhood education. I imagine people are going to start hearing more about this. So essentially recognizing that there's an awful lot of kids in our area that, for financial reasons and others, don't have access to schooling prior to kindergarten. And we know that those early years are so critical to development. So there's a lot of energy going into trying to create more slots and create more opportunities so all kids can take advantage of that. I think and hope it's something that the people of Parkway broadly will get behind once those efforts roll out further, because I think it's a really noble goal that we can all have to make sure all kids have equal access to those same opportunities that some other kids have. So leave it at that.
Along with Sam and Pam and Debbie and Jeff last night, I attended, I'm not sure exactly what we called it, but it was essentially a listening session where we talked to some of the parents that are maybe affected by some of the possible decisions to be made in the district as far as moving some students around. And I bring this up because as board members, our role last night was really that, to listen. You know, we had great administrators on the ground talking to parents and hearing them. And to me, it was a very good exercise because it wasn't just the district saying this is what's going to happen, but it was the district saying this is a problem we have. Let's come together and hear what people have to say and take their considerations and their input and see if we can come up with the best possible solution, taking into account the different interests of the different parties involved. And as a board member, it's sometimes difficult in a situation like that not to jump in and participate, but our role is to listen. I think it was a productive evening, and ultimately, these decisions will, as a board, be responsible for making decisions that impact lots and lots of students and parents and the district. And I just think it's important that the citizens of the district know how seriously all the parties involved are taking these decisions and how their input is being used in that decision-making process.
In addition to those, I also attended the Parkway, the PACCD meeting, which is the Parent Advisory Committee for Children with Disabilities, which is a parent support group for parents who have students within our school district that work in cooperation with the special school district to help service their children with special needs. The next meeting will be the first Tuesday in November, so I encourage anyone in that situation who have children with disabilities to please attend these meetings. It's a wonderful opportunity for parents to talk, to be somewhat of a support group, but also get ideas from each other on some of their challenges, but some of the opportunities, as well as to how to help educate students with disabilities. I also want to, Jeff and I attended with some of our administrators. Thank you so much for the time that our operations and facilities staff helped to coordinate a tour on Friday of some of the progress on construction projects that are occurring here in the district. It's great to see our bond money at work, so we greatly appreciate that opportunity to do that. I also attended a finance subcommittee meeting, which we're starting to get into those meetings now, and appreciate Patty Bedborough and Brian Whittle's time on that meeting, and we'll be starting back into reviewing some policies related to finance and operations, so we'll be digging into that in December. And then I've also had some other opportunities to just attend a variety of sporting events, musical events, and various different lectures on upcoming travel opportunities that students have with their parents, without their parents, as well as my daughter attending sixth grade outdoor school. And I just say that because as we're talking about meeting with parents and students these past few weeks, it's very important that we find ways that our students can become engaged. And I'm very proud of this district and feel very grateful that we have so many opportunities that hopefully all of our students will find ways to become engaged in this district. And so it's just wonderful and heartwarming to see all of the different things that our students have the opportunity to do, whether it's music, athletics, travel, whatever. So we just really encourage our students to keep looking out there, keep looking for that opportunity to become engaged in the district and be, feel like you're welcomed and be a part of things here. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. And I was fortunate to attend a number of those things with my fellow board members and have similar things to report, so all good things. I also attended a play at West High a couple of weeks ago. They put on the play Boeing, Boeing, and it was a fantastic production. I follow a number of schools, as many as I come across when they have they're touting the plays and musicals and things that come along, and I've never disappointed at any of those types of productions. Also spent a couple of weeks ago, or about a week ago, we had a PTO leadership meeting at the district. It was a pretty full house. Most of the schools are represented, and so it was good to be in the room with all the PTO leaders from around the district and exchange ideas of what's going on in their buildings, but is just as importantly talk about things that are going on at the district level and how PTOs can be kind of plugged in at the district level and just kind of a lunch and learn kind of thing where we can learn from each other. So that was always good. And I just want to echo what Debbie said about the facilities tour. It was great to see some of those projects that we've been talking about for the last several years and see them really start to come to life. So we know it's going to mean some great improvements for Parkway, and we can't wait till they're finished.
I would just add a few things. Debbie talked about athletic events. Some of us had the pleasure to be part of the Mayor's Cup game last week. Got to go on the field, Pam, Debbie, Jeff, myself, and others. For those that don't realize it, West plays Central, and I think this was the seventh annual, and it was quite a game. Quite a game, won by Central 41-35, wasn't it, or 28?
28.
Quite a game, quite a wonderful game, and the mayor of Chesterfield and some city council members brought the cup and presented it to the winning team. I, too, like Jeff, like to go to plays. I went to the North play last week called The Diviners, quite a good play, and there's a couple coming up this week. There's one at Central, and then the South has Frankenstein or from some of the coming up this weekend. So there's more. This is a season of plays in Parkway. And then finally, I want to thank Amy Joyce, the Human Resources Department, and Laura Warren, who put most of the work together for the operations workshop. So last Friday was PD in the district, but it's also a time where our operations people get to spend significant time in sessions learning some things that really is going to make their jobs better, improve their work. Nikki did a session on calendaring, developing calendar, and so a lot of our own staff ran sessions. We had a wonderful keynoter, Todd Smith from Waterway, was our keynoter on, and talking about making people first. So good group, good activity, and I want to thank, again, Human Resource Department and Laura Warren and Amy and her staff for putting that together. Thank you.
Thank you. The Finance Operations Subcommittee meeting was held on October 8th, 2019. Our next subcommittee meeting is Human Resources, which will be held on November 7th at 4:30 p.m. at the Administrative Center. Next up, we have 10.0 consent items. We have 29 of them, in addition to the amendments that I read earlier. So may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in the October 23rd, 2019 board meeting materials?
So moved.
Second.
Is there anything to be pulled to action or closed? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. We have no action items. We have no policy review this evening, but we do have a couple of reports. So right now, may I have Dr. Jennifer Stanfield, Director of Choice Programs, join us, please? And we're going to hear about summer school.
Good evening. Thank you guys so much for having me tonight to talk about our 2019 summer school program. I just want to thank you all again and introduce myself for those of you that might not know me. My name is Jennifer Stanfield and I serve as the Director of Choice Programs, and as one of those programs I work with is our summer school program, and I am very excited to share the highlights of our program for the year. Summer school is dependent on a number of individuals coming together to make the summer school program work. And so I would like to thank my assistant, Ms. Lisa Bangert, who worked tirelessly to support the work. In addition, I'd like to thank all the summer school and afternoon camp site administrators, teachers, and support staff, as well as Parkway Rockwood Community Education, who have continued to be great partners, and they have assisted us in our work with the ELIO online registration system as well as our afternoon camps. After careful review of feedback from parents and families at the conclusion of summer school, the following opportunities emerged as areas of consideration and focus for the 2019 summer school program. We had looking at operating 2 summer school sites as opposed to the traditional 3 based on numbers. We also looked to increase virtual learning opportunities for high school students. We were also looking to see how we could improve our K-8 student attendance. At the conclusion of 2018, we had seen a bit of a dip, and we wanted to work on improving those rates, as well as improving communication between school and home. So as we proceed through tonight's presentation, I'll give you an overview of the 2019 program, followed by the work and impact around some of these focus areas, and then we'll talk a little bit about our plans for 2020. This summer, approximately 6,000 students participated in academic, credit recovery, enrichment, or remedial summer programming. This was a slight increase compared to 2018. In addition, we had more than 1,700 students participating in afternoon camp opportunities, which was an increase of almost 300 kids. We were also pleased to have more than 700 students participating in half-day and full-day camps through our Camp Fantastic program, or Green Trails Camp, as some call it. I'm pleased to share with you the following statistics related to this year's summer programming. 54.8% of high school students in credit-bearing courses earned an A or an A-. 118 non-public Parkway residents participated in summer programming in Parkway, and we had 19 students graduate as a result of the credits that they earned in summer school. In 2019, there were some areas where we had changes in revenues and expenses related to summer school. Again, we did have a slight increase of about 1.3% in our average daily attendance. We started a new program this year by changing our summer brochures from the booklets that listed every course and every course description, and we condensed that into a full-color, one-page document overview, and we sent it out by area. In addition, Facebook ads were used to promote summer programming for the first time, and these changes resulted in more than $8,000 in savings on postage and printing. The reduction of one high school site led to approximately $28,000 in savings to the district as well. We did see an increase in expenditures by 3.24%, and the expansion of Parkway virtual courses resulted in an increase in Parkway virtual salaries. Students accessing online courses through the Missouri Course Access Program resulted in almost $19,000 in tuition fees, and it's important to note that that MOCAP legislation came into play in August of 2018, and so it had not been really anything that we had considered in years past, and so that was a new expense for us. In addition, our certified and non-certified salary costs increased, and we saw an increase in the number of students who really required one-on-one adult support in order to be successful either during summer school or summer camp programming, which was the cause of some of those increases. The Parkway Summer Program costs approximately $1.5 million to operate, but with state reimbursements and revenues from camps, the district investment in 2019 was approximately $518,000. This was an increase of approximately $50,000 from 2018. So because of that, stakeholders will continue to come together to look at additional revenue streams as well as opportunities for reducing expenditures as we plan for summer of 2020. At the conclusion of 2018, we saw declining numbers in high school enrollments, and we were starting to have some difficulty securing staff, especially in high-need areas like math and science for our high schools. From 2016 to 2018, we saw over 200 students not attending summer school at the high school level. Some of that we believe is because we saw an increase in virtual over that time, and then also there is a pretty strict attendance requirement, and so if students miss more than 2 days, they're unable to participate. So sometimes students will self-select out of high school, summer school because of that. In addition, as I mentioned, because of the Missouri Course Access Program and our virtual work team recommendations, we determined that it was a strategic move to expand our virtual options for students in grades 9 through 12, which impacted the number of students, again, physically attending during the day. The overall decline in enrollment can often result in small class sizes for credit recovery courses, specifically in core areas. So it was becoming, as I mentioned before, increasingly difficult to secure teachers. And so after reviewing the data and engaging the high school summer administrators in conversations just around effectiveness and efficiency of our 3 sites, the group recommended that the district combine resources and create 2 summer sites. Due to the proximity of schools, the longtime Central West partnership was dissolved in order to pair Central High and North High, as well as South High and West High. And as stated earlier, this resulted in approximately $28,000 in cost savings to the district, and we were able to offer more courses to our students. In 2018, at the end of summer school, we had 11% of our students in high school enrolled in virtual courses. Part of these limits were based on some course caps that had been put in place where each school had 40 seats per course in summer school. And what we learned was we were unable to meet the demand for students who wanted virtual learning during summer. So this year, we made the decision to staff our Parkway virtual classes based on student requests, which expanded the number of virtual opportunities to students, as well as the number of virtual staff members who were able to begin teaching those courses that maybe had not done that previously. In 2019, 23% of high school summer enrollments were in virtual courses, either through Parkway Virtual or through the Missouri Course Access Program, and that was an increase of 12% for 2018. This data shows the grade distribution by type of summer course. So as you can see, students enrolled in Parkway virtual courses were rather successful. That's that center box. It's important to note that most Parkway virtual course offerings were credit advancement courses, so students that were working ahead in courses such as health and personal finance. In many cases, if we look at our launch grades, which is the vendor that we used for the Missouri Course Access Program, students who were unsuccessful were mostly taking courses that they unfortunately had previously failed. And so potentially challenging content coupled with learning in a new way can oftentimes make it difficult for students to find success. So information on how we can support students in virtual courses in the summer has been shared with our summer team as we start to think about 2020 and future expansion in virtual courses. And then we are also continuing to share the third-party provider course enrollments with our curriculum coordinators so that we can be thoughtful about which courses we develop internally in Parkway and have our Parkway teachers teaching in the future, which may meet our students' needs in coming years. I talked a little bit about a 2018 decline in K-8 student attendance. Again, it was about a 2% decline last year, and as a result, we saw a slight decrease in our reimbursements from the state of Missouri. After reviewing this data, we worked collaboratively with summer administrators who identified strategies to address the importance of student attendance during the 2019 summer school session. Administrators submitted their plans for improving attendance at each respective site, and K-8 client survey results showed that 72.53% of families strongly agreed that the importance of good attendance in the summer program was communicated by the school and by the teacher. From 2018 to 2019, we did see attendance increase by 1.58% at the elementary level and by 3% at the middle school level. Overall, our attendance was 88.78%, which was about a 1.28% increase from 2018 to 2019. We have been looking a little bit more closely at attendance, specifically for K-8 students, and it is evident that Fridays tend to have the highest number of absences, which probably is not much of a surprise. We also saw that the third week of summer school had a higher number of absences than weeks 1 and 2. So as a result of looking at this, there may be cause to survey parents on their thoughts regarding either a 2-week, 5-day program or a 3-week, 4-day program, just in an effort to improve those attendance statistics, but also to meet the needs of students. We also, based on our client survey data at the end of 2018, felt like there was opportunity for us to improve our communication between school and home, both before summer school and during summer school. And so summer administrators worked with staff members to open lines of communication with families by implementing strategies such as sending out weekly emails and phone calls. We had a number of schools that sent out phone calls with the administrator introducing themselves over the phone prior to summer school starting. We had schools that used programs such as SMORE to send weekly newsletters where teachers included blurbs and pictures and photos from their classes. And we also really tried to focus on sending emails to parents for celebrations and praise. And then some of you may be aware that a lot of our schools started to use social media to tweet out good news regarding curriculum and character and really to show what was actually happening as part of our summer school programming in our camps. This year, we asked parents again to provide feedback on communication processes, and 80% of respondents reported that they were satisfied with the communication from the school, and almost 70% were satisfied with their communication from the teacher, which was definitely an improvement from 2018. After reviewing all of our data at the conclusion of each summer, we pull together again the summer administrators and we review summer financials as well as that climate data to determine some areas of consideration for future planning. So as we think about 2020, one of the opportunities that we have is looking at partnering a little bit more with Parkway Rockwood Community Ed for our afternoon camps. They did a couple of camps for us this year. They do an excellent job with that. And so we are going to work with them to manage and coordinate the administration of our afternoon camps, even though they'll still remain within the Parkway Summer School program. We also are going to continue to increase the number of Parkway virtual courses that we make available for our students. And we also have found a lot of growth and interest in the Camp Funtastic program that I mentioned earlier in the north and central area, mostly central area. And so we are going to pilot a 2-week kind of mini version of Camp Funtastic in the southwest area at Piermont Elementary later in July, because the summer of 2020 is much longer than normal summers. With the change in the academic calendar, we're going to try and meet the needs of our community by offering some additional camps. We also are going to, as I mentioned earlier, identify some strategies for helping our students in virtual classes, continue to monitor our parent feedback regarding communication with schools and attendance, and review some pay structures for teaching assistants and paraprofessionals as those paraprofessional roles are becoming increasingly needed. And the last thing that we're going to start thinking about is 2021, which seems a little crazy, but we are really aware that in 2021, high school summer school would be going until mid to late July. And so we do see that as a potential challenge for securing staff, as well as having interest at the high school level, especially because the MSHA dates for high school sports and activities won't be moving back. So if we have coaches that are teaching during summer school, they'll have about 2 weeks before they're back coaching. So we are pulling together that high school team to kind of brainstorm what could summer school in 2021 look like, but we're starting that work now. So as I conclude tonight, I want to once again thank you all for your support. Every summer, I'm able to walk with some of you in our summer programs, which is always enjoyed by everyone when they get to have guests and kind of show off the fun things that they're doing. And we're fortunate to be able to provide this opportunity for our families. As many of you know, we have an extremely comprehensive summer program, and we are committed to consistently seeking feedback and making recommendations that will enhance our programs and really allow our students to try new things, pursue a personal direction, and have some fun learning while they're at it. So at this time, I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, I don't have a question. I just wanted to give an endorsement for the summer program. My son took part in it this summer, and there's just great course offerings, and obviously there's different things going on in grade schools versus high school versus middle schools, but I know he loved it. And just an anecdote, there was one day we had a family something or other planned, and we were going to take my son. He said, "No, I can't miss summer school." So thank you for all you do. It's a wonderful program.
Hurting our attendance there.
That's why we were 80. Yeah.
Dad.
I would agree with Kevin. My kids have all attended summer school, and I think what's particularly beneficial for students transitioning to a different school or a different grade level is having those introductory courses, jumpstart classes or the introduction to 6th grade, for example, or 9th grade, so that they get acclimated to what their new school environment will be, and that's of tremendous benefit for the student there to be able to experience that. I do have one question about the extended school year. It was mentioned that it was changed. Was this the first year that change had occurred? And can you give us some background on that?
Sure. So extended school year with special school district, typically at K-5 runs concurrently with Parkway Summer School. And so some students, may be full day ESY. Some may be partial day ESY, partial day Parkway Summer School, depending on their qualification. And so this year, the area coordinators at the elementary level felt like it would be better if we were able to move those students in that programming into July, a little bit closer to the start of the school year in August, so that there may be a little bit less regression between those between the end of that and the start of the school year. What that did, it did provide opportunities for students to participate in Parkway Summer School. However, some of those students did have some pretty extreme needs and needed some adult support, but we were able to work collaboratively with Special School District to identify paraprofessionals who are the students, trusted adults that we can have them work with when they were in the Parkway Summer Program. So this was the first year, and we're continuing to kind of look at that. They found it to be very successful. They also centralized to one site. So they used to have kind of pockets of programming at multiple schools, and they brought all students together to one central location, which was, allowed them to have one nurse versus multiple nurses and that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
I know that my fellow board members have already said this, but my kids have participated in this summer program the entire 7 years we've lived here. And they've always loved the enrichment programs, but I do need to speak to my son transitioned from middle school to high school this year. And it was strongly suggested by his family that he take the Strategies for School Success course. It has helped him tremendously. His transition to high school has been great, and I know that course has been part of it. He was also given the option to take whatever other class he wanted to. He chose to take the prep algebra class, and I was surprised by that. But his current algebra teacher has actually commented that he can tell he took that class and that it really set him up for success this year. And so I'm grateful for that opportunity, because I'm a parent who was nervous about that transition, and I know those classes helped my child. Sure. And I'm glad that that opportunity is there for Parkway kids.
I would just like to say that Parkway's always had a strong summer program, but I just want to thank Jennifer. She's, as you can tell, kind of taking it to a new level. And part of that is her attention every year to really pulling people together, doing client surveys, find out what people are thinking, and then being very strategic. And, I pride myself in, ideas, but Jennifer has more ideas than I do on summer and some of the things. And I'm just very, very excited and pleased about our summer program, her work with Community Ed, and the work she's doing to enhance really quality virtual programs that are Parkway directed and led. So I just want to say thank you, Jennifer. I think you've just done a marvelous job. Summer is such an important time. You've all kind of given testimonials to keep kids engaged. And whether it's a transition time or whether it's just, we have makeup, we have some, but there's just a lot of need for enrichment too. This is a great time to do something different. And when we visit summer school, it's always exciting to see those programs where kids are really enjoying something they can't do during the year, robotics or some other things. So thank you so much for your leadership and some of the good things that are happening.
Thank you. And thanks again to all of you for your support. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to welcome Patty Bedbarrow, Parkway CFO, Ralph Neese, Director of Facilities, James Swingle, Manager of Planning and Construction Services, to give us a summer projects and facilities review.
Good evening, President Todd, Vice President Hopper, and Board of Education, Dr. Marty, Mrs. Stover. I'm here truly to introduce these fine gentlemen that have led a lot of work during this summer. We've completed a lot of jobs under the 2014 bond issue, started a few jobs under the 2018 bond issue, completed one job under 2018, and then have done a lot of operational little jobs as well that have kept the facilities department very, very busy. In addition to the facility projects that have been completed, just want to shout out to Jason Rooks and his team for all of the IT infrastructure, the camera purchase has happened, and they have finished with the RFP process for the voice over IP system. So beginning on those big projects too under our bond issue as well. So not to take up too much of these fine gentlemen's time, want to then present to you Ralph Neese, our Director of Facilities, and James Swingle, our Manager of Planning and Construction.
Good evening, members of the board. Dr. Marty, good to see you all tonight. So just to rehash what Patty said, we have certainly been busy. Tonight, we're going to do a quick summary of what we've been doing. Well, for those of you that weren't able to go on the tour on Friday and see everything live and up close, we'll do a kind of a picture tour of everything we did this past summer and currently ongoing. And along the way, feel free to ask questions. We certainly don't like to wait questions till the end. Let's talk about it in progress. So capital projects, back in May, we certainly started off $25 million worth of construction this summer. That's actually the third highest total we've ever done. 2016, we did $31 million. 2017, we did $29 million. And the next two summers, summer 2020 and summer 2021, will actually be close to $25 million, a little north of there. So every summer, and continues to be very, very busy, according to for us here in the district. Flooring projects, again, another big summer. We did close $750,000 in flooring replacement, 130,000 square feet worth of carpet and tile and gym floors. Two major Terraflex gym floors were installed right here at Central Middle in our Gym B and at Mason Ridge. We broke ground and continue to construct up at McKelvey Primary and Parkway's new Welcome Center at South Middle. We replaced 25,000 square feet at Hannah Woods, which equals exactly 50% of their roof. They've been problematic for a little while, and through all the fall rains we've had, it's been fairly dry. We hear good things up there. They certainly appreciate it. We installed a geothermal well field at South High. After cooling season, we'll resume the final installation of the geothermal well field to the chillers. Obviously, we're waiting for after cooling season, because cutting off for 3 or 4 weeks of cooling to South Middle would not go over very well. We added a second CNG compressor for transportation, which increases their fueling time for buses. They were limited to one bus at a time. Now they can do dual buses at a time and keep fueling faster. We added 75 kilowatts of solar cells at 4 schools: South High, West High, Green Trails, and Wren Hollow, to continue our sustainability and our renewable sustainability approach here. We finished 2 modernizations. We finished the modernization of the intercom in the PA, which I was so lucky to talk about to the rest of Missouri School Board at the School Board Association. This modernization, along with the fire alarm modernization, will pretty much take us into the foreseeable future, and will, unless there's some other technology that we need to have out there for the rest of our foreseeable future, we'll be able to use that and not have to replace it. We targeted McKelvey and River Bend for having some guardrails that were long overdue. Many moons ago, when the school district built those, guardrails were not quite, the rules back then were not quite as stringent as they are today. We modernized that to bring them up to code, and certainly higher, which is appreciated certainly at both schools. We continue at South High with a massive LED replacement of going from fluorescent bulbs to LED bulbs. And we installed a bunch of retaining wall behind us in front of us over here at the Central High on their varsity softball field. Jumping into the pictures, very unexcitingly, here's Hannah Woods' brand new roof. Ooh. It's what we call the new Parkway Gray. Here's a beautiful transportation, the second CNG compressor that Will loves. District operations. We removed, so long ago when the parking lot was much smaller, the fueling station at district operations for the gas and diesel was at the back of the parking lot. But over the years, as we expanded the parking lot and made things bigger, it became right in the middle of the parking lot. So just through the natural, it's been 30 years since that installation was put in. It's at the end of its life cycle. We ripped it out and moved it to the new back of the parking lot next to what we call the 6-bay shed, which allows the buses to get in a lot easier without having to worry to run over a fueling station in the morning and at night. So I'll have to send this to Nikki to share. Hopefully many of you have seen it already, but the very small writing in orange that you can't really see is a wonderful, wonderful article that the Post-Dispatch and their sustainability editor did. Talks about our geothermal at Parkway. I have to give him many, many kudos for making Eric and I sound really smart, and in making you guys very foot forward in what you allow us to do here at Parkway. Very unexcitedly, for those of you who have been out there, it's a big mud pit. So the picture on the left shows a big mud pit, but more excitingly, the picture on the left shows what's underneath the ground. Interesting side fact is that we have 120 wells that were dug 500 feet deep. So that's a 2-inch coil, 500 feet down, 500 feet back up, which equates to about 22 miles worth of tubing in the field over there, not including what it takes to connect the well back to the school. So kind of interesting Jeopardy fact. Here's kind of a pictorial of the South Middle Welcome Center. Starting in the top right corner and going counterclockwise is kind of the current evolution. Top right corner was them doing all the civil work, moving the dirt around. Obviously, had to get the dirt out of the way to create the new parking lot that's there for the teacher and staff in the Welcome Center. They poured the concrete pad in the bottom, and then finishing out on the bottom right is the steel going up. As of today, they have all the steel up. They have the pan decking on, so they're beginning to weld it structurally, the deck. They'll pour the concrete deck, because the roof of this one in a future project will be the second story of the Welcome Center at some bond issue in the future. South Middle, the two top pictures, as you know, we also renovated South Middle's locker rooms into a beautiful student services office. So to see the old, dark, dungeness locker rooms, and then to go down to Dr. Matheson, and what he has now is really a complete, pretty cool transformation with lighting and paint and flooring. McKelvey Primary. The picture on the left is the old ISC Room A, if you remember that from many, many different presentations that we've all been to over there. And the two pictures on the left is ISC Room A with all the walls removed. So they are in mass demo mode, and it's interesting to walk into the construction side and to be able to see all the way from one side of McKelvey Primary to the other side. Today they have, of Sequence 1, which is the north side, the north and west side of the building, they have all the structural studs up. They're starting to put drywall up on one side and finish the plumbing and the electrical in the walls. So as you remember, this project, due to some heartache with the county that they wanted us to do, was a little behind the time. The contractor is and continues to do a wonderful job of accelerating the schedule and picking up a little bit of time each week to keep that and get that back on schedule. Our visitor vestibules. So Belle Reve and Piermont and Craig are finished. There was the code officials at Creve Coeur wanted us to do a little bit of additional fire protection that kept us from finishing the full round at Craig. With the 4-day weekend behind us, they were able to finish that. So going up to Craig, they have their full visitor vestibule along with Piermont and Belle Reve. And to talk about what our maintenance and our grounds did this summer, I'll turn it over to Ralph.
Thank you, James. Good evening. So very busy summer for us. When I first got here, we were in the middle of rainy season like we've never seen before in St. Louis. I think it was the 7th wettest year on record. And one of the things that we found, what you're looking at is the garden area down there at Barrett's. A lot of mulch was in place, and you can see in the lower right corner there's a drain there. Mulch would continue to accumulate around that, clog our drain, and thus create a large swimming pool there, sending water into the school building. And we chased that for a number of days trying to keep that clean, and finally we decided that maybe it was time to move on from mulch and look at going to more of a rock-based garden areas in that. We picked out it's similar to the Alabama Sunset. If you ever go to a lawn and garden place and you're looking at the different rocks that are there, that's the kind of stone that we're starting to look to replace some of our troubled areas where mulch continues to wash out. And it is a sustainable landscaping option too. It should save us money over the long haul because we won't have to continue to replace it. Another issue that you get with mulch over the time is termites love mulch, and they like to make nice nests in there. And if we get over a certain level on the side of our buildings, they find a nice path in. So we're starting that work, trying to remove a lot of mulch in areas and beautify grounds in that regard too. So, and then also at Barrett's was room 305 is the band room. We also had water issues there. Originally, we thought a lot of our water was coming from that courtyard, but after we got the courtyard settled, we still had water issues there. So we started to do a little deeper dive. We pulled all the walls back, and what we found was we had water seeping through the walls from the outside in front of Barrett's. So we had a contractor come in. He removed all of the old stuff that was there. We had some landscaping that probably needed to be refurbished and redone. Pulled that back, we sealed the wall, redid the windows, and we also were able to add a couple of the exits there that you see, those ladders. And then through the recent rains, we have not had a problem since. So we have solved another major water issue down there. And I know that the folks at Barrett's are happy, specifically the band room, because a lot of instruments were in there, and it was always a huge concern when you have that much moisture in a room. So we've successfully tackled that. Over at Craig, there was a request that was put in. There is a kindergarten playground area that's designed for just the little folks there. And the problem was it was a throughway between two of the larger playgrounds. And the administrators over there were a little concerned with what was going to happen when the big kids come running through with the kindergartners. So we were able to kind of keep the kindergartners, if you will, safe just by adding some fencing there. So that's one of the things that we try to do for the schools as we can, as budget allows and as time allows with our staff. We will do things like that to help kind of keep our little people safe. At Green Trails, we redid a room there on the left. That was what it looked like prior. We put the calming room in. We added the walls that are pretty much impenetrable, so when we have to, have students go into these rooms, and that keeps them safe, keeps our facilities safe, and gives them an opportunity, to calm themselves down and then eventually return to their class. At Hannah Woods, space is always a premium, especially when it comes to storage. We were able to, even with all the construction going on down at Hannah this summer, we were able to squeeze in another pad down there for Christy Roberts and her folks, and we were able to give her another shed, so she had some additional storage there. Over at Henry, the picture on the left is the walkway where a lot of the little people would walk, especially the walkers that were going to go home. There's a crosswalk up at the top of that. Ms. Pott was very concerned that when the buses come out, you see the line there, that's kind of where the buses, as they make that sweep up, the tail of their bus would come across that. And she noticed that the little people were not paying attention all the time, and they were having to really be diligent in keeping them away. So she asked if we could put another sidewalk in or widen it, and that's what we did for her, and she was very appreciative of that, and it has solved a lot of her concern there. Up at North High, the Early Childhood Center, there was not an ADA accessible ramp from the parking lot. We recently got that taken care of for them folks up there, and that was a welcomed addition for them. And then down at Oak Brook, when I was doing my tour of all the facilities, which was quite enlightening, especially since I just came on in May, we were walking around, and we noticed that Oak Brook has probably the highest number of folks that need ADA assistance. And when they did a fire drill to get them out of the building, a lot of times they were stepping off onto a concrete pad, and if we had the rain like we did, it was very hard to move them folks if they were in devices, whether it be wheelchairs or walkers or things of that nature. So got with my staff, Pat Gutting did a fine job. We identified the 3 different areas. We added sidewalks, and now they're able to move about a little freer too when they have their drills and that, and it's less of a concern there. This kind of shows the stairwells that James spoke to earlier, the one on the left. That it's actually Riverbend that I'm showing you there, but McKelvey's stair railings were about the same height. It was about 30 inches high. And with the new ones, I believe we're at 42 inches high now, so another concern that's eliminated, and we added multiple rails so that the little people are not trying to do what they like to do, which is hang on the rails. Another water issue that we had was down at South Middle. It was affectionately named Lake Powers because it was outside of Mrs. Powers' classroom. Again, water was pooling in this area and it's seeping through the walls. So we got with our contractor, we got with some of the folks in maintenance, and we went in. We stripped it back, we sealed the walls down there, and then we leveled the whole area out and graded everything to that drain that was there. But over the years, ground settles, things move around in that. So we were able to go in there and clean that up, and then that takes care of an issue too, because we had about 3 classrooms that would get wet on a continual basis, which is a lot of disruption for the folks, the teachers and that are working there. So this is our wrap-up of what we're looking at going forward. 2020 projects, we are in the process of bidding. McCarthy and ATG will begin the athletic field turf replacements mid-November. We are starting at North High and then South High, correct? Yeah, so we're going to start with North and South High, so you will start to see some construction fairly quick on our major stadium athletic fields there. If you have not seen the renditions, let us know. We'll get you pictures of those, but I think that everybody's going to be quite pleased with the way our fields are going to look moving forward. They'll be quite eye-popping. Also, other renovations, flooring at Northeast Middle and Piermont. We are currently doing some of that right now. We're working with the folks over at Northeast. I know Piermont has had one room replaced. I think we seen that the other day when we were going through, and we've identified 2 more rooms that we can kind of take care of. And it helps us to get some of these rooms off of our books, if you will, during the school year. So we appreciate the administrators kind of rearranging their schedules to let us kind of come in on these longer weekends and take care of some of these items. Helps speed up the summer stuff. The bathroom renovations, we have started to identify what we're going to do and come up with a working model. I know transportation got taken care of this summer, but South High, South Middle, and North High, along with Claymont, we're targeting some of their bathrooms that are in conditions that just need to be replaced, and we need to get those taken care of sooner rather than later. So those are kind of our where we're starting. Kind of what we looked at there is where are high-traffic bathroom areas, which would be around the theaters, around the gymnasiums, and we're looking at those and making sure that we kind of, clean those up first, because we do have a lot of visitors that come into the district, so we want to make our district presentable to all those folks attending events here. Then number 3 there, the elementary front entrances at Hannah, Sorrento Springs, and Wren Hollow. They will all be addressed next summer. They'll have a vestibule-type entrance where it'll be a little more secure when we're checking the folks in and out of these buildings. That's pretty much wraps up what we're doing. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that goes on, but these are just some of the highlights, some of the big victories, if you will, for us. If you have any questions of James or myself, we'd be happy to address those.
I've got a couple questions.
Sure.
First one, when's the Welcome Center at South Middle going to be under roof?
So in the next 6 weeks, they'll be enclosing the walls and under roof. Middle of July, July 17th, is when we want to have it open for staff to move in. The original intent was to give a month to staff moving in back before the state of Missouri changed the rules for the start of school. Now, we're not giving that 2 weeks back to the contractor. We're still holding the July 17th. So the staff will have a few extra weeks to get situated in there.
When's the first board meeting there?
When you want it.
Not in July.
Not in July.
Yeah, we'd like the month of July off.
With safety helmets and eyeglasses and steel-toed boots, we could do it next month if you want.
I've got both of them. The TerraFlex floors at Central Middle and Mason Ridge, where else in the district do we have those?
So the TerraFlex floor, I'm going to completely lie to you. The TerraFlex floor started in 2010, and talking to Mike Mertens and to Scott Bennett, they had a plan to do about 2 or 3 schools per year going forward. For somewhere around 2014, they were kind of put on hiatus. Half got done, and we've been wanting to finish it from an equity issue. The schools that have them now love them. They're safe for the kids. They give the proper bounce that feels like good wood floor. So we've agreed to, between our flooring and some operational funds and some funds that the schools have, that and community ed, we're going to finish the rest of everybody who doesn't have them.
We're targeting, hopefully within the next 2 years, all of the elementaries will have a TerraFlex floor.
And it's my understanding they're safer, right?
Safer, easier to clean, more durable.
Okay.
I'll just share one quick story that I had a concern from a parent about South Middle construction. I passed along the concern, and by the time I got back to the parent, you guys already fixed the issue already for me, so it made me look really good and powerful. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it's been a busy summer, and I know Ralph has had a kind of a whirlwind start here, but as you can see, a lot accomplished, and thank you, gentlemen. And we should have been earlier when we talked. James, you did a wonderful job at MSBA. We're very proud of you. Your presentation was really very good. Represented Parkway very well, and thank you. Thank both of you. Thank you, Patty.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you both.
very much.
Our next anticipated closed session will be held on Wednesday, November 13th, 2019 at Central Middle School. Details of the closed session will be posted within 24 hours of the anticipated meeting. We had a closed session earlier, which we concluded, so there is none to return to. So may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you all for your attendance tonight. We'll see you next month, perhaps.
St. Louis. Just think